Okay. By Sosim Yesh L'Dalan Amos, a closed house has 4 amos. Parts of the Timov, meaning even though it's closed, but it still hasn't destroyed the door. Shahil Pascal B'Stasmo, that he had openings to the courtyard and closed it up. Parts of the Timov and Dalan Amos, but if he destroyed the whole doorpost, then he doesn't get the 4 amos anymore because it's not a door. He's agreed he's not going to take it open unless he breaks those doors down, break those posts down. Kever Shekoy Shapaskel Mishlas also a grave which has its opening closed. Ain't no metamet post. So if it doesn't metamet all around the parts, it's besim if you break down the doorpost, the sasma and close it up. Metamet post even though metamet all around it. The marshal I think takes this out. Um, yeah, the marshal takes it out. By sasma ain't no metamet closed viva. The closed house doesn't metamet all around the parts, it's besim. But if you break off the doors. And as for the doorposts, then the Matama calls room, the Matama is all around it. Amr Rabba Sabar Rav Chana, Amr Rabba Chana says, Amr Yochanan in the name of Yochanan, Min Boas Muflashim Liracheres. If you have alleys which are completely open to another city, Ubik Shabinei Yir Listosman, the people of the city want to close it up. Bnei Oso Ha'ir Ma'ak Ben Alav, and the people of the city can stop and then we can't close up your mavos. We have a right to go through your mavos to that city. Here Rashi says, Ena Matama Suvi, doesn't Matama around it. Ela Kenega, the Pasach had just opposite the door, and Mace was dead by inside of it. Oh, sorry, missed the rest before. Yesh the Dam Lamas, Bechalko, Lachatun is portions, cards, and Bol Chalik, if they want to divide, Ki'ilu who Pasuach, as if it's open, even though it's closed up, because he hasn't destroyed the doorpost. Parts of Basima, if he breaks up the doorpost, Harihu Kever, it's like a grave, Timu as Suvivo, and the Cham Matama around it, a Kever, Dalanam was around the grave for 4 amos. Veshalo, Yakarbo, Taros, and Hakever, the people who are doing Taros things wouldn't come close to the grave. Vehilu, and they'll be over it and then act as an OL, and then they'll give them the Tame, below dice, and they won't think about it, and then they'll be Tame, the Taros stuff will be Tame. The Acheres is opening up to another city. The Derech Acheres is opening to the way of another city. The Bikshta B'nei and the people of the city, and Shamavos B'nei above, the alleyways are inside of it, they want to close it up from behind them. B'nei Yosu, the people of that city, Acheres, the other city, Ma'ak Ben Olim can stop them. Shegavar Huchsukul, the Katzi Derech Osim Bos, they've already have a chazaka to close short and make a shortcut through those alleyways. No, we don't talk about if there's no other way out. The ma'akve that they could hold back and stop them from saying we're going to another, closing it up. Elafilu kvi kadark achrin, or even if there's another way, nami ma'akve you can still hold back. Mishum the rihudik amarav because that of kids rihud amarav. The amar which said, meitzah shufta borav masal kalkul. If you have a boundary which the Rabbim have established, it's also to destroy it. Amr rihud amarav, yeah, meitzah shufta borav, it's also to destroy it. B'nei Rishus Ram Makmalem, Mishum Dechi Dachku B'nei Rishus Ram. Kid Rav Gidel, Dam Rav Gidel Ram Shaber Derech Latzman. Rav Gidel says that if the public have chose a way for themselves, Mashabar Bar, what they decided is decided, and they have a right to that thing. Basically, they got a chazak on it. You can't take it away from them. Okay. B'nei Rishus Ram Mishum Dechi Dachku B'nei Rishus Ram. B'nei Rishus Ram can. Oh, did we do this? I don't think we did this. Amr Rav Amr Shmuel, both of them have alleyways which are completely open to Rishus Ram, meaning there's two ends closed up with courtyards and houses, and then both sides are open to, or one side, yeah, it's completely open to a street on at least one side. And the people of the city want to put their doors. So I'm not sure if Mufalashim usually means it's completely open and you can go from one end to the other. It might be there's around both ends, or it might just be that it's open at one end to the Rishus Ram. The people of the Rishus Ram want to put their doors. The Rishus Ram the people of the Rishus Ram can stop them. Then they thought this was only when they can stop them. People of Rishus Ram, they have the right to go into the Mavi just for like the first Al Ramos. Either Rav Zera, like Rav Zera said, Rav Nachman, the name of Nachman, Rav Zera on Rav Nachman. The Alad Amos and Vos, Hasmuchos, the Rishos Ram, the four Amos which are close to the Rav. The Rishos Ram, the Rishos Ram, the Similar to Rishos Ram because people are pushing the way in. Below he, also in there it's in regards to Toma, Abuhach, Zim, the Dach, and the Rishos Ram, by the two, maybe sometimes the Bnei Rishos push them in and they go very far in. But and so therefore they have a right to that also. But in how much is it considered a full Rishos Ram? Just the first four Amos, Rishos Ram, the rest of it maybe one or two people go through, but they still have a right to that. Kushas Rabim Dam, and they need Suffolk, some in regards to Suffolk, some in regards to Rabim. Sorry, I missed one Rashi. Meishas Rabim Makmalim, stop them. Misham Dachi Dachu, and Meishas Rabim, Mistalka, the Tokum, Mavos, when the Meishas Rabim push them way in, they go inside the Mavos. Hani Mil, these ways, the Tochtal and Amos shell, Roshi and Mavos, still within first four Amos of the big heads of the Mavos. Hamasmuchas Rishazam, which is close to Mount, Rishas Rabim, Akban, Hamalav, Mela, Evid, Delas, Sham, it's about they can hold back from making doors there. Below here, it's not true. Shafilu, Rasu, Lahamid, Lepnim, even if they want to put on the inside, Midal, and Amos, Ma'akban, Alim, you can hold back, you can stop them. Beira Diyom, but the people of, I'm into this. Below is the side of Achihei, but Tishikam, you can't divide a field into there's Tishikam, Zav, Tishikam, Zan, 9 kam for each one. That measure of volume. They're not arguing. Mike Yasu. When the one said there was 9 kavan, one says 9.5 kavan, one's like his, max like his, max like his, but both, and therefore they better land. So half, it's worth it if you have really good land than even 9.5 kavan. Baba, what's the ruling there? How good is that land? Amar Rabbi Yosef says Beirad Yom enough that you should be plowed in one day. My Beirad Yom, what does it mean plowed in one day? Yom is if we're talking the days of the planting and plowing, then Yom Karva Lohavi, in 2 days of the Karva season, it's not enough plowing for that. Yom of the Karva, if we're talking plowing during the Karva season, Yom of the Zera Lohavi, so the day for 1 day of plowing in the planting season is not enough. It's not going to be the same. So meaning you're going to have to hire too many. It's not practical to plow it. And the grain in the sowing season, or when you're going to plant the stuff, you're not going to have enough for the second time you plow, and you're going to have to do half a day then, or 2 days then. 1.5 days then. And then you will have to have workers for half a day. So it's not a good business deal. You're losing half work. It's better to hire workers for 2 full days. So even though you got the 1 day worked out for the Zriya, but you didn't get enough for the Karva season, and you need more, you just wasted half a day. That's a lot of waste. And it's not worth it to have a field like that. It's not 2 days of Karva. Yom of the Karva, the Yom of the Zara Lohav. If you're talking 1 day of Karva, it's not even 1 day of Zara. Ibai Zem Yom of the Karva, the Karva Tani, Ibai Zem Yom of the Zara, B'chaduri. So the gears we have is if you want to say it's a day of Karva, that season, the harder season, I guess, either it's not during the planting time. I think maybe before, I'm not sure. Yom of the Zara Lohavi, it's not the day of planting. It's not. It's not going to be a day. So Ibai Zem is Yom of the Karva. The Karvatani, you did it, you carve and you did it again. So let's see Rashi. Hopefully, and here's the Gibbs. Yom of the planting of the plowing of 1 day. What does that mean? Yom of the Vizara, if you're talking about planting season, how Yom of the Karva will have it? It's not the day, 3 Yom of the Karva will have it. 2 days of Karva season is not. The Yom of the Karva, if we're talking Karva season, Yom of Zara will have it. It's not 2 days of plowing it's 1 day of plowing for the planting season. Yom of the Karva, you want to say we're talking Yom of the Zara, the days of planting. But after the Karva, I'm talking a case where they plow and they repeat. You might say maybe Yom of the Karva, you want to say with Yom of the days of the Karva season, Ubadur. We're talking Haduri land, very hard land. Yom of the Zara, Rashi says, Mishas is there at the time of the planting. Who Noach Lachor, it's easy to plow. Shekavar Nechresh is Bishas Anayr. There's also it was already plowed at the time of when it was empty. We have a be Rad Yom would be Rad Yom the comment that was said the Yom the Zara time of planting comrades. 3 Yom the Karba will have 1 be 2 days of Karba. Cool. I mean to say B'Shas and at the time of the plant at the when it's not planted yet. Hitlius Kov Shvarim, how is he going to hire oxen? Inbo Kedei Malachos, but Yom doesn't have enough for the work of 2 days. Yeshbo Yosim Kedei Malachos, Yom Echad is more than 1 day. So what are you going to do? You're going to waste half a day. Bibi Yom Makar, we're talking days when it's unplanted. Shell Shas and near the time when it's unplanted, come right. Lo have Yom Desire wouldn't be a day of planting time. But Hitlius Kov Shvarim, the Shas is there. How can you hire oxen at the time of the planting? If you want to say it's time of the planting, but on your question, Trey Yom the carver will have it 2 days, the carver is not. But after the carver tani can place your carver tani. B'shas and at the time of the unplanted season, Ika b'yom Ika b'yom the zara Trey Yom the carver. So then, with one planting season of plowing, you'll have 2 days of full of carva because you carved the tani, you plowed it in one time and went back and again. People is saying when the second answer is if you want it, we're talking Yom of the Karba, and the Karba season the plant when it's not planted, and that means 1 day of that. But the Kamar lo have a Yom of the Zarab, and saying it's not 1 day of planting time, it's going to be less than that. How are you going to hire oxen? But do we're talking this, we're doing that doing. Sheheretz kosher, it's very hard land. V'yishba malois, the marzos is up and down. V'yish torah. Mishrash is there because shas now. The time the trouble just in time planting season, just like the time of the unplanted season. Lishnafina Iplugar seen in the opposite, the another language is the opposite. Viba is in Yom the Karva, if you want to say it's 1 day of Karva. But the Kashila Yom Zara Lo Havi in your question was if it's not a day of Zara. But after the Karva Tani, the answer was, in the case we are Vitani, you plowed it and repeated it, but Shas is at the time of planting you did too. So therefore Achas Kolim was the one before this planting, Achas Achas and one after the planting. Lakas is there to cover up the seed. Viva is same, and if the second answer would be Yom Dezara, it's Yom Dezara, the Gomer Trey Yom Karba Lahavi, so it's not 2 days of Karba season, non planted season. But Adurias, we're talking about Adurias, Yesh Torah, Vala Bashas, Adnyaya, there's great trouble at the time of the plant, at the time of the unplowed, unplanted time, season. Yom Dezara, Havi Trey Yom the Karba, 2 times of 1 day of Zara is 2 times of Karba if it's very hard ground. Lashon Zahavan, this language is right. He likes the second language, which is like our Gemara here. Okay. So the answer is Iba is Yom of the Karva if it's a talking day of the unplowed season, unplanted season, the Karvatani, and the answer is how is it how you Karvatani you plowed it and again they were talking in the planting season. We did that. But Iba is Yom of the Gazar if you want to say we're talking the day of planting season, but we're talking very hard ground, and therefore 1 day of planting equals 2 days of unplanted. Dabla Amr Nachman says Be Delu Ki Dalu Yoma Pardesa. Let me see that. Let's see Rashi. Dabla. And here's then both there's a pitch and men in which mashkin sort of now the plant they're watering the fields. Be Delu Yoma, they enough to plant to dry water for 1 day. Achi Hebo Kedida Hashkas not until it would be enough to water so that Kedis Hulas Yom Lazev, Kedis Hulas Yom Lazev enough for one worker for there to wash the field. Enough for one worker for this guy, one day's worker for this guy, 1 day's worker for this guy. Sichar will follow the rights for a worker for that to do that. Beid el yom. So if it's a dav, it's a field which you have to water, a pit which you can water, then it has to be enough to be. You have a field, I guess, with a pit. I'm assuming with a pit. I mean, it sounds like you're splitting the pit. As long as there's enough to water for 1 day, then you can split it up. No. Per day, so if you're talking about an orchard, Amr Avuah, the Shmuel, the father Shmuel said, Bash Losh's covenant, 3 covenants enough. Tani Nami Hafu Hamu Lechaber Minas Bekarim. It says his friend, I'm giving you a portion of in the vineyard. Ani Mokal, I'm selling to you. Sorry, not giving, selling. Some goes on as loyal plus Megim Kam, some goes as less than 3 kaf. I'm Rav Yosef. Rav Yosef says, Ain Elu Eladim in Nevius. These words are only the words of prophecy. Because it doesn't, I don't understand what you're saying. If it's like a prophet says, why should it be 3 kaf? Pardes Rush is Karim, it's a vineyard. Begimel Kavim 3 kavim. The whole Echad, the 3 kashban, Sasaim, Mishkan. For each one, according to the calculation, if we know Sasaim is like the Chashim, is like the Chatz of the Mishkan, so 3 kavim is for this person. Any words of the Vias below time, meaning these words are only words in the Vias, means without a reason. The bubble mine, bubble, what's the rule? Amir Rabbi says, Bar Kishna, Talas Atiyasa B'nei Tracer Gofne, 3 rows of 13 vine branches. In order that a person should be able to dig in one day. Okay. Osina Kol Yad Beis Gefanim Kol Yatzina. All the 12 vineyards account as one Asina. The Rafik odor is Ho. Amr Avdim says the men faithful from faithful. Yom Shachar Beis Mikdash and in the time the Beis Mikdash was destroyed. Nitzon the woman and so that's how much he gives. He gives him 3 things of branches of 12 vineyards. 3 rows of 12 vineyards. That's how much has to be to each person. Okay. In order the person should be able to pull it in one day. Amr Avdim says the men faithful, which is from people. Yom Shachar Beis Mikdash, the time the Beis Mikdash was destroyed. Nitzon the woman and the Nevi'im was taken from the Nevuah was taken from the Nevi'im, prophets. Menid no lecham given to the Chachamim. Adu Chacham the Navi. The Gemara says, is it that a Chacham is not a Navi? Meaning Chacham is better than a Navi. This one means says even though the Nevi'im it was taken from the Nevi'im the prophecy, when a Chacham no nidla from the Chacham it wasn't taken. Amar Meimer, Chacham Adam fin Navi. It says Chacham is better than Meimer says a Chacham is better than a Navi. Shneimar the pasuk says the Navi the Chacham and the Navi his heart is wise. Meaning that who do you hang on which on who? Meaning you Haviyom Merkatan Nidla. The other we is to say that the smaller thing gets hanged on the bigger thing. So the Navi, his heart is wise, but a wise person, he's almost like a wise person. He's almost as good. He did that, but a wise person is better, and he has more Navi. Is more of a prophet. Amar Rabbi says stated the Amar Gav Rabbi Milsa and Rabbi says I'll prove it to you because a great person says a thing. When it's Amr Mishmei the great Gav Rabbi says the name of a greater person. Achrit a different person. Kabasa like him, so we see that he has a Navi. He knew that person was going to say. Amr Rabbi says, my question, what's the question? With Delma Tavai and Echad Mazel and maybe they're both the same type of Mazel. Elam Rabbi says stated the Amar Gav Rabbi Milsa Miss Amra Mishmei Rabbi Kiva. And it gets said in the name of Rabbi Kiva. From a great person says something, it gets said in the name of Rabbi Kiva. So that he's obviously, Rabbi Kiva is obviously smart than that person, and still he must be had nevuah. Rashi says nevuah. Mishum the Amalei the Leilvik said earlier, any no div in Revius, these were words of only words of prophecy. Shekar div chacham nevuah they called the words of prophecy. Nagalah Milsa taught that it picked this matter. Adu chacham navi is it that a chacham is not a navi? B'chi ein chacham roy lios navi. Isn't it proper that a chacham should be a navi? The Amar Amar Nitlu min Hanavim that says the master says it took him from the Navim, and his Chacham is given to the Chachamim. So meaning, why is it saying it's taken from the Navim and given to the Chachamim? Meklazim Meikar lo Aisin Nevuah Chachamim implies that originally there wasn't Nevuah to the Chachamim. It had to be given to them from the Navim. What do you mean? A Chacham is better than them. They already had it. Chacham Afish and Nitlu min Navim means to say that even though it was taken from the Navim, it's not taken from the Chachamim. She'enim chachamim and chachamim lo nidlu. From the neviim which weren't chachamim wasn't taken. Which are the neviim which weren't chachamim was taken. And chachamim lo nidlu. But from the wise people wasn't taken. The neviim yesh lahem leva chacham, and the neviim have like a heart of chachma of wisdom, but they're not fully wise. Navi, not neviim. Teidal perpetuation shalom nitnem and chacham. It wasn't taken from the chachamim. because it gets said in the name of Rabbi Akiva. But by Yosef, Kavasi like him. Rashi says, "V'lek of the Meimar b'nei chad mazlin." And you can't say they both are the same like mazel. Shahari Rabbi Akiva chacham mimenu harba because Rabbi Akiva is way better. It's way smarter than him. Kavasi like him. Amir Rashi says, "My question, what's the question? Dilma l'hamil so bar mazli who maybe for this matter he's the same mazel as him." Elam Rashi Rashi says, "Tated Amir Gab Rav Milsa rather must bring proof to you the great fences of that matter." Umisamar halacha l'mosh mishina gets said in halacha l'mosh mishina kavasi halacha l'mosh mishina like it. The Dilma Kasuma Baruba, the Gemara says maybe it's like a blind person who falls into an attic. And the Gemara says back, Tam Kamer, doesn't he say a reason? Not Tam Kamer? Doesn't he say a reason? So meaning he can't just have fallen into it. How can he know the reason then? Rashi says a lot of time come. Rabbi Milsi with his matter, but even the Amr time isn't saying the reason. It's not like a blind person who tends to fall through a skylight. The mikvah just doesn't happen. Sounds bound, but just happened. He fell through the light. He didn't know where he was going. Elsewhere, it's the Levi. It's the logic of the heart. Habalo ben Nevu, which came to him through prophecy. V'zachal lahaskim l'lach l'mosh mesina. V'zachal to be masking to the halach l'mosh mesina. Fine. Amr of Yochanan says, Yom Shechar of Beis Mikdash, time in the days of the Beis Mikdash was destroyed. Nidl and Nevuim and Neviim mistaken the Neviim, Nitnal the Shot were given to crazy people. Litinokos and to little kids. And he showed them he wanted to crazy people. How what is that case? He had the Baravashi, like that case Maravashi. The Havaka Koi Viraska the Mechuzah was sitting in the marketplace of I think it's a marketplace. Stroke Rishos Ram, yeah, it's a marketplace in Rishos Ram, Rashi says. The Mechuzah Shamada who showed he heard this crazy person the Kamar Reish Mesipta the Malech. He says that the head of the Mesipta, the Malech, the Gimel is B is the Hash the Master Mechasif. Now on the Master Mechasif, the Tavyumi Chasim, he signs this Tavyumi. Omer Man Chasim Tavyumi. Who's the person who signs this Tavyumi? The Rabbanan and the rabbis. I'm the guy who signs this Tavyumi. Shmamina, the Didi Kaim Lev Shaita, what do you see? We learn from this that for me it's going to keep the time is now. The time is going to stay. And come also, also he got up and went. Other also, Imner Rabbanan, that's the before he came, the Rabbanan had pointed to sit Rav Achamidif, the head person. Even the Shamadal, since he heard that he was coming, Shal the Rabbanan Gabi sent a group of Rabbanan to them. The Mulchabay to ask him permission to appoint Rav Acha. Okay. McVinu, he held them back. Hadar and he sent another group. Another group of Rabbanan, and he held them back. Until he filled 10 people were there. Even the Malabeh, once there was 10 people there, Pasach, Vitana, Vidar, Sheet opened up and started teaching and darshaning. The rule is you're not allowed to start out a college drasha, a big college drasha like a group, whatever they used to do, this college type drasha, with less than 10 people. Ravacha called about himself, and I guess the end that he was appointed. Now Ravacha said about himself, who didn't get the position, Marine law, anyone who's bad to him, it's not quickly are they going to give him any good. Anyone who gives him good, Marine law, it's not quickly are they going to do bad to him. Tinobus he was the case of the little kid. He had the Basra from Chista, like that case of the daughter of Chista, have a Yosef Mekanf, she was sitting in his lap, the whoever father, or in the have a Yosef Kamei Rabba Rambrach. I'm sitting in front of him, Rabba Rambrach. He said to her, Mami Naibars, which one of these two do you want? Amr Leitara, she said to him, I want both of them. Amr Rabba Va'ana Basra. Rabba says, I'm last. I don't want to die, because in order for her to marry her, one of them's gonna have to either divorce her or die, and he didn't want that. He wants to be the second one, didn't get divorced, get killed. And that's what happened. Let's catch up on Rashi's. Tavim the Molech, which he's going to rule. Hashtav Mas Mechasi, now Mas Mechasi, just the Yosef Yeshiva is going to be the head of the Yeshiva also nowadays. Now, so he's going to be Tavim Mechasi, signed this as Tavimi. Kishachosim Migeres, when he signed the letter, Chosim Shmei Tavimi, Shmot Tavimi, signs the name Tavimi. Kamilan, Kamil Shait is going to keep for me the time. Mazel, I got a good mazel right now, I'm going to win. Shadru Zug, the Rabbanan sent a group of Rabbanan Lavakam, the Marbar Ravashi, sent to my Ravashi, the Mluch to appoint him. Lethal sorry, to consult him. Lead the late to take advice of Rishos and permission to Hamlechas Ravacha to the point Ravacha. Possibly on Tana, he opened up this tent, started teaching. Midrasha Benasir was Jiva as a drasha, and he became the Shiva doing such a good drasha. Kol Miriam Lo, anyone does bad to him. Kolom Rohoyel Benidcha Shah, since he pushed out the time, Lo Yim Lichen, and one of them not going to appoint me anymore. Okay. I'm going to redeem him in Chiba, redeem says in it from Chiba. Kodem She Yochel Adam V'Yishtav Yishlu Shtei Levavos. Before a person eats and drinks, um, he has two hearts. Meaning he doesn't really not really sure what he's doing. Can't be so decisive. After eating and drinking, he only has one heart. Shneim the pasuk says each of the Yolov, one who has he's hollow, he has two hearts. He'll have two hearts. From the word live. But it says Navav Luchos, and it says Navav Hollow Luchos. It's like a meaning Hollow Luchan, and we can translate that as Hollow Luchos. Hollow boards, or hollow planks, or whatever. The point is, it means hollow. So once he's hollow, he's not full, then he's got yellow, two hearts. Amr Rav Huna Brei of Yeshua, Huna says in the Mishah, of Yeshua, Harago B'yayin, one is accustomed to wine. If you leave Nibo Atzim, the Masul, even if his heart is closed up like a virgin, Yaim wine will open it up. Shnam Rabbitiro should give Yanova, and it says wine will open him up. Visulos, meaning even closed up like a virgin. Okay, I have to use the word because otherwise you won't understand the puzzle. Okay, right there. Amr Rabbeinu Yeshua said. Pshita chelik b'chor b'chor pashas. Pashas, if you have the portion of the b'chor and the portion of the pashas, you have inulei achametz. You give them one border together. He gets the two portions. B'chor gets double portion. You give the two portions together on one boundary. Yavamai, but by Yav what's a lach? Arma by hihi. Rabbi says the same thing. It's you give him one portion. My time is b'chor. What's the reason? Because Hashem is talking about taking the extra portion to the brother that did yibum. He gets the portion that the dead brother gets, and he gives him and he's like a bechor now. It's called bechor. He gets one message. Rav Amar says, "I'm proud." The pasuk is bechor before I have a and he says bechor have bechor and should be the bechor. Have a yaske bechor vein to lukasim bechor. So the pasuk has the extra word bechor bechor should be the bechor. Should go first and do yibam. So this teaches his being is like a bechor vein to lukasim bechor, but doesn't have the same portions as the bechor. He deserved an hour of a mitzvah to be nasher. There was a person who bought land on the boundary of the Beinash of his household, his father's household. Kika Polgu, when he divided it, Amale Pligli Ametris, he says, give it to me on my border. I guess, and then again the person died. So he bought it on the boundary of his household, father's household, and then it was inherited to him, and he wanted to divide it. He says, "Politically, I'm at. Give me on my border." Rabba says, Rabba says, if you bring this kind of case, you force stone and say, yeah, you can get that portion which is next to the one you bought. Masculine, Rabbi Yosef asks him the question. Actually, his brother can say to him, "Malan keep next to the Marian." He says, it's like raised up upon us as a raising, like the property of Abraham, meaning we really like that field. I don't know. I really like that one. You can't just take it. We think that's worth a lot more. Bilkus like Rav Yosef, Lachos like Rav Yosef, and you can say it counts as that. You can say we can claim we don't want to give it to you because we really think that's a good field. Let's see Rashi. Let's show now. This pasha if you have a before portion and a normal portion. Before knows the two portions of which before takes echam mishum before echam mishum. Is one because of before, one because it's just a regular brother. Yavinu leyacham, that's we give him one born. We do it to do one, this one, next one. Shari shneim yifel kohen, because they're both his portion. Bahari hen kefel echam is like one portion. Yavin my, but Yav what's Allah. And I'm Yavin is Isha echam, when we had this even to the wife of his brothers, come to top of the nafel that comes to this for him, for instead of him for inheritance. Minolto shnei chalachim takes two portions. My mi matzu amrli is it possible to say to him, oil b'mi koach achrina since you come from us another person. Lo yavle luhu. I'm not giving it to you. To you, Achad, one master, one border, Zu is this one's next one. You love Malis and Gavin unless you give us to us some money to pay for that getting that portion. Before I should say the before which gives birth. The Yavim Gumishtai dealing with the Yavim, the mitzvah begal, the Yavim mitzvah with the Yavim to Yivim. I should tell you the line this when it says that should tell you to exclude the night. Here's the darshan that has darshan the pasuk. Yivama Yivala, Yivama should have relation with her. V'haya B'char and it should be the B'char. Ezim and Yivama Yavala, which one of the Yavim should do the Yivim to her? Abachor the Abachor. I should tell it which she gives birth. Because it could go and show Yivama Basi, for example, the Yivama has a person who could have kids. He probably Linus excluding an island. That's what the point is. It says V'chaya Habachor. First of all, it calls over before, so that's how the first opinion says it should get some boundary, and he's better than just replacing the old brother, which would be two separate brothers. Obviously, they wouldn't get one boundary, but he's better because it's called the Bechor, and the other opinion says V'chaya Habachor, next to V'chaya. The Zav and Arav are mentioned the Bein Nas, he bought land on the boundaries of his father's house. Kana Kaka Eitel Sadavi bought a ground next to the field of his fathers. Kimantul Mifli, when it came time to divide, Imecha with his brothers, Benechseyav in the property of his fathers. Amidas Zoman, the first opinion held to be forced me to stone. Zen and Zelachah, so this is again this guy's not losing because why? Who cares? But doesn't matter to you from which side. You don't have any reason why one is better than the other. He has a good reason. He's got a field next to it, and he can just plow right through from one to the other, not have to have two separate plows. Omer Acham Melin Le Eliyahu. The other brothers can say it's worth for us more. Lanu Hachiyachat Mishra Bachas. For me, us it's more Kekarkos of Shel Barmerian. It's like the properties of Barmerian Shay Mulam that were very good. Mulos and Mustafa, Havs Rav Yosef Tzadeh. And Mustafa, that case of Rav Yosef is talking in a field. That's base of Baal in a base of Baal field. So this is something you're able to say that sometimes this field is more blessed than other fields, meaning it's more rain and stuff, and therefore it's better. It's a field which is irrigated by rain. Trey Arasa Trey Nagri, 2 feet. Trey Arasa Trey Nagri, two fields and 2 rivers back in the Gemara. Amar says Kikon Zakov and Amida. For example, this kind of case we're forcing on Sodom at Midos. It's very bad. Why do you care? Give him the one which is closer to his father's field. Masculine of Yosef is asking a question. Sometimes this one can be dries up, and this one doesn't dry up, and you could draw up water. And this one does dry up, and you can't draw up water because it dries up the whole rivers like things. I don't know. Not really rivers, like half rivers that come out from rivers. So it can dry up. Hilchos of Yosef and the Lachos of Yosef. Tarti Achad Nagra, both of them. So Tarti Arasi Achad Nagra, 2 fields on one river. Rav Yosef says Konzakov and Amidas Dom. For this kind of case, you do force them about Amidas Dom. Skavla Rabbi asks him a question. Matzi Amr Beina the Afish Arisi, but he could say to him, I want to have more Arisin. If you have 2 separate fields, you're going to have more Arisin around because you're going to have you have to keep workers for both fields, and I want that because it's going to keep my field very well guarded. Then adding on more Arisin is not a thing. Rashi says, if it would be two Trey Rasa Trey Nagri, 2 fields and 2 different rivers, and Beis Shlachan, if it's a field which gets Beis Shlachan, which you water it, Yish Shnei Acham the Chalak shtei sados, and there is for the two brothers to divide two fields. The kol echad yesh lo yor, each one has its own like river-like thing, half semi-river. Lahashkas menu to draw to water from it. V'yish kona sada eitzol, the zekon is on the eitzol ha'echad, and one of this guy bought a field by the one of them. Eitzol ha'echad by one of them. Mehem, Barot the sheet and Achav Zu a smuch l'shani, and he wants his brother to give him this one close to the second one. Go into Kofim, in this kind of case before. The whole karka shnia gam he gesh lo yor, because the second field you also have a yor. To it lahashkas man to draw to water from it. High madvil the high low madvil. The problem is that some rivers some of these like smaller rivers are better than the other when they dry up. Than the other ones. The other yoram the avish normal for yours to dry up. Kishanar Shanar Nimshach Mimenu, and the river which they're drawing from it is Maya. So it draws from a river that sometimes that river goes down, and then sometimes the Yor which is drawing up from it dries up. The Pa'amim Shazay Yavish Shazayini. Yavish, sometimes this one dries up and this one doesn't. Omelo Tos Kelfakab Stam, it says to him, take your portion of both of them, to love me to Sodom. He that's not afraid of Sodom. Otain Lanu Eloy Bidam, or if you want, you can give me an extra money to keep that portion that you want. Tarti are also two lands. Yesh land lechaluk, the tears to divide al chad but it's all in one river. The achom have kona bikarko etelach, and one of them bought ground by one of them. Then kofan al midastam. Then even Rav Yosef agreed to be forced about midastam. The given the achom they were in it's one river. Shteim shabbos are both equal. If it dries up, they're both done. If it doesn't dry up, they're both good. Basically, the pushu arise. Nikoli the push the arisa that want to. It's good for me to have more Arisa around. Totally she hey lochashte, so it's good for me that you have two fields. Achas began ve'achas began. One of this one and that one. Ve'achas. No. Take a v'achas be'amsa. They should tirbu l'chol Arisa, and they should have more sharecroppers. But hey, so the shali mishtamer siyaf in order that my field will be guarded properly. And we said it's not a thing.